figured out a lot of things in my life called devil's advocate. Some wrong, some right, devil's advocate. Pretty self-explanatory. But you know, trying to get it right, you know. Trying to stay right, so Mr. Right. How do I explain? What is it I can say? How to help me make it through the day? How do I explain? What is it I can say? How to help me change my evil ways? How do I explain? What is it I can say? How to help me take off all these chains? Pleasure with the pain. How do I explain? I'm a devil's advocate. Miss brown skin, light brown skin, dark brown skin. We can link around 10. I said I ain't got no lady, you ain't got no man. Tell me what's the deal, what's the plan? You wanna talk, wanna touch, wanna make love, wanna have sex, wanna fuck. You want all of the above, but you want it with somebody you can trust. Might as well face that I'm addicted to love. Or is it lust trying to keep you in my grasp, in my clutch? When we split like a Dutch afterwards. Wondered if we moved in a rush, not waiting for the next bus. What they say every 15, here comes another one. About to get you something that's troublesome. Is a relationship possible? Is it realistic or an obstacle? Not for you. I'm on the phone, said I need some time alone. When you gone, wish I had you in my home. Said you got a Jones in your bones. Played D'Angelo, Andy Stone. Told me come and get it while it's warm. Called you back and said come on. It's me halfway, we can burn it till we filling up the ashtray. And I've never been the one for betrayal. I just gotta find a way to say no. Devil's advocate. How do I explain? What is it I can say? How to help me make it through the day? How do I explain? What is it I can say? How to help me change my evil ways? How do I explain? What is it I can say? How to help me take off all these chains? Pleasure with the pain. How do I explain? Sins of the father cast down upon the son as the sun sits overcast, beaming down upon us. Hand inside the gauntlet with a hair trigger. Father figure views the Bible channel as he sips upon his liquor. Son watches father watch the channel as the hammer hits the anvil and it's spinning out the blade.
Right now we're talking with Toki Wright, the one and only mayor, Minneapolis and St. Paul. You know, talk a little bit about what you're doing at McNally Smith College. What's the significance of that?
Currently, I am a program coordinator of the first diploma program, a fully accredited diploma program for the study of hip hop and the study of hip hop through music schools, accredited by National Association of Schools of Music. So in the fall we have a year-long program, 3 semesters of courses that not only talk about the practice of hip-hop, but it's the history of hip-hop and the business aspects of hip-hop culture.
What's the importance of having an accredited program like the one you described?
I think the importance is for hip-hop to get the respect that it deserves as a wide-ranging art form and a wide-ranging culture. Something that, for instance, an art form that has both Lil Jon and Immortal Technique, and has D4L and Chuck D. You know, you have a wide range of styles and attitudes. And MC Lyte, you know, not to discredit any of the women that have been pillars in hip hop. So we really need to not only just talk about hip hop in its musical form, but the language of it, its African and Latin history, as well as, you know, how do you really, what's behind the structure of a beat? What is behind how do you tell a story through music? All of these things, and you know what happens when hip hop gets commodified? What happens when you know, these corporate entities get their hands on a culture and changes and shifts the way that people look at something that was organically funky.
Ferdinand in hand. Put it back, and it comes to Scott, so they know that this crack. Crack open the shrink wrap the vibe. Stick it on that chicken soup soda on the side. Got the soda on my side like Wisconsin. Hold it up like Iowa State. Nigga cats try to lie on my face. Or behind my back and that. Let's get the facts on tracks to attract. Sexy off the back. My stats looking hella proper. Elevated like a helicopter. Sick to the doctor. Dr. J, Dr. Dre, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Better than that bullshit you use it on. Not to bust you open, get your loose on. Stay right, I got going to a user. Ever since I got paid the booster. Been about the Russian and growth. Every line is like a lesson of growth. Still a toe, man, send a section of toe. Crack a champagne bottle like a blessing of both. And I'm stretching your throat. That's a play on words, wordplay. Always got the juice for the Thursday. Holy old Thursday. Shut your ass and come see me. On the right, Mr. Right, so that's the free.
You know, you're here in Minneapolis, and it's known for the Rhyme Sayers, which you're one of the new members of. One of the interesting aspects about this part of the world and many parts of the country is that there are a lot of white kids that get into it, and they have a certain style and aesthetic that they seem to prefer. You know, something that is often classified as underground or backpack. Yet you live in the hood out here, and you've always made it a point to make those connections and to keep a continuity between hip-hop that's coming from the hood and how it eventually gets consumed by people outside. Can you talk about the importance of that, you know, and maybe clarify, you know, elaborate on that?
When we were at South by Southwest, I said that quote that I heard, you know, the problem with progress, when we're talking about Obama, is like the problem with progress is that people forget struggle. And sometimes we see the end point and don't think about all of those steps that took place in order for us to get here. For instance, you know, 10 years ago in Minnesota, you couldn't listen to commercial radio, and you would hear an R&B song with a rap bridge, and you wouldn't even hear the rap bridge. You know, so there have been drastic changes that have happened in our community for us to be able to be able to see ourselves. You know, where we've had to spend a great deal of time, especially as African Americans, seeing ourselves on television as criminals, seeing ourselves on television as pimps and players and hustlers, and which is true as well. You know, that's part of the entire story. But when do we talk about the doctors? When do we talk about the lawyers? When we talk about the regular guy that just really just doesn't know what he's doing, you know? And when you're dealing with people of color and white kids and white people, you know, I'm trying to find the correct terminology, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody in any way, shape, or form. But sometimes we only see what has been presented to us. So we draw these lines between us like, this is hip-hop, or this is good enough for me, or that is basically ignorance because I don't understand the backstory behind it. It's kind of like everybody has this negative air about them about gang activity. And, you know, you go watch Bastards of the Party and you learn about the history behind the Crips and Bloods. Or you talk about Chicago, and you talk about El Rukin, and you talk about the history of the Gangster Disciples and the Vice Lords. And there's a backstory that is rooted in people wanting to get together to support themselves and to be able to stop violence from happening to them. And in turn, all these other societal factors come in and change and reshape the way that looks. So my job, I feel like I've been given an opportunity to be able to present myself to different crowds of people, because I can go to a black crowd and say, hey, everything that you hear about white people is not necessarily true. I can go to a white crowd and say, hey, everything that you hear necessarily about black people is not necessarily true, and do that through myself. And it's been a beautiful thing to be able to be with Rhyme Sayers, because Rhyme Sayers allows me that platform to go different places that I've never been before. I'll always be in the neighborhood. Like that's my personal choice, and I think that's part of who you. No matter where you move to, you know, I have no problem with anybody moving. If you're gonna move out of the hood, you're gonna move wherever you want to go, fine. But to not support where you came from and to not support what made you what you are is a detriment to your community.